You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh, how
you know what time it is. Roll with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. And it's Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the uttermost to the public housing. If we don't play, our wide receivers got your secondary shook, so they cook them like Bobby Flay. Hey, stay out of my way and trust me, cause I know it's OH. Somebody please give this brother an IO. Come on.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk about college football with real fans. I'm Devin. That's Mello. And rough day still. Obviously, we know what's going on, man. But we appreciate everybody for showing up. We are going to address, right, the situation. We're not going to get too in depth with it. We just want people to know where we're at with it. And then when we get done speaking about that, we'll give a few updates on some official visits. But huge tragedy, man. When a life is lost and another person's going through stuff like this, it's an unspeakable tragedy. Mello, I know you wanted to say a few things on it. This hits pretty close to home with me, given my background and things I've been through in life. But Mello, you want to start us off, man?
Well, first and foremost, everyone's prayers and thoughts need to be with everyone that's dealing and have been affected by this tragedy. Prayers to Ethan Perry's family, 24 years old. That's super young to lose your life. Prayers for Kim Barton and her children, because their father is separated from the household. And yes, Kirk needs to be held responsible for whatever actions he may or may not have had. But at this time, I'm personally going to reserve judgment to speak on this until more facts come out, especially because I see everyone saying that he got charged with a DUI, which I could not find anywhere where he got charged with a DUI. I saw that they said he was suspected of driving under the influence, but I did not see any actual charges for that. So if we're out here putting that he was drinking and driving and he wasn't, and it comes out that he wasn't drunk or didn't meet the legal limit, I hope Kirk sues every one of you, honestly. But outside of that, I'm just going to reserve judgment. It's a tragedy and it should have never happened. And I'm really sad for Ethan Perry's family and the Barton family as well.
Yeah, definitely prayers for Ethan Perry, his family. With what I've been through in life, I was and I'm not saying this to make this about me at all. I understand these situations. I was a drug and alcohol counselor for about 6 years of my life. So I've been in these situations on every side of it. Being like I used to be, man, I've also put myself in situations where I could be in Kirk's shoes. I could be, not here. You know what I'm saying? So I can, I've helped families through times when they lose a loved one. There's really not many words that can be said for the pain that Ethan and his family are going through. As far as, the Kirk side of the situation, never will I ever condone drinking and driving. It's something that I'm very passionate about. It has affected my life in many ways, drugs or alcohol, however you want to look at it. And he'll, for whatever comes out of this, he'll have to pay for that. He'll have to live with that for the rest of his life. It's a bad decision in a moment. And I've made plenty of those. For some reason, Lord willing, with his grace and mercy, he allowed me not to hurt somebody else in those moments when I was being an absolute idiot. And for those people that want to act like, these statements are some type of an excuse for the action, it is not. These are just facts. I've been in these shoes, man. I know the emotions from every side of it. And Kirk is a very good friend of mine. He's helped me through a lot of tough times. Been there for me to answer, call and check on me and all those things. And he made a bad decision. And it's hard to find words to describe how you actually feel about it. You know what I mean? It just is. I want to sit up here and say all the right things, but I don't know. There's not right things to say here. There's so many emotions. There's anger. There's all these things that everybody is dealing with right now. But there's one common denominator here, and it's pain and tragedy. And it's honestly broken my heart these past couple days, 2 or 3 days, to see how people respond to this, right? To see other shows, other competing sites, other people, the way that they are trying to turn this into a profit, the way they are trying to, bring things into this that are not a part of this. Scoop had a lot of haters before, and now people are pulling that in. Kirk's friends are coming out and doing shows about it and saying just wild things. And to me, my heart hurts for those people that are doing that, man, because people that do that use times of tragedy and pain to turn a profit or to whatever, take advantage of the situation and now be in the spotlight because Kirk's no longer going to be on YouTube. You have to be hurting, right? In order to be in a place like that. I've been in that place in my life before, man. And I know that Jesus Christ came into my life. He saved my life. Jesus was the only perfect person to walk this earth. Again, not excuses. God is the ultimate judge. He will handle this however he sees fit. There is not a perfect person walking on this earth. None of these statements are going to take away that pain, right? Kim and the kids, I can't even, dude, it sucks to even think about, what they're going through right now as well. But man, just the response that people have to this, it's pretty heartbreaking to see. Like there's enough pain, there's enough tragedy in it already. And it's heartbreaking to see it. I feel so much for Ethan Perry and his family. I really, really do. And I feel for Kirk's family. I feel for Kirk as well, man. I know him. I know that he is probably beating himself up right now, very much so. And it's wild. I personally, I don't cast judgment on anybody. I try not to. I'm not a perfect person, and every once in a while, those thoughts will come in my mind of what I think or how I feel about what somebody did. But the truth of the matter is that I was the scum of the earth. I was lower than low. I stole from my family. I did all these wild things, man. And praise the Lord that I didn't get judged off of one of those actions that I did. Praise God for his grace and his mercy and his son that died on a cross for me, because I would not be here if it wasn't for that. So I say all that to say that I just can't cast judgment. I just can't. In my heart, knowing the things I have done in life, knowing the things that I have been forgiven for in life, and knowing how long it took me to forgive myself, I can't cast judgment. All I can do is be there to show compassion for those that are hurting. If the opportunity ever arises, right, to comfort Ethan Perry and his family, I will do whatever necessary to try and do that. If the opportunity arises to comfort Kirk and his family with what they are doing, I will take that opportunity, man. Everybody goes through different things in life. Everybody has a different life path. They go through different pains in life. It's a long shot to wish that I would have got on the internet and seen everybody just responding to this, right, so much differently than they are. But this is the world that we live in, and this happened, man. I don't condone, right, the action of drinking and driving if that took place. Not at all, right? But I cannot judge other people based off their actions. I can hate the action, I can despise the action, and I do wholeheartedly, but never can I cast judgment up on that. That's what the Lord tells me to do. So that's what I do. I find when I live by what the Bible says, that my life tends to be better. And when I veer off from that path, it gets bad. So I say all that to say that, man, we're here. We're streaming from the Scoop channel as well. We will continue to do that. Scoop has been a huge help to Buckeye Boys and our channel here. They've always been good to us. There are more, there's more to Scoop than just one person. And the people that want to drag that in there, I just don't agree with it. But in times like this, when you have so much pain and so much tragedy, whatever your emotions that you're feeling, I hope that the words you speak from those emotions are coming from a compassionate heart. You know what I mean? And not coming from a hate-filled, jealous heart, because those words are very powerful, man. They're like a rudder of a ship, and they can steer a very large ship in a good way or in a bad way. So, a lot of pain in this situation. I just felt it right to come on here and speak about it. We're streaming from the Scoop platform. Kirk is a really good friend of mine. And I just pray that people can find peace through this, man. And, God says in his word that some things are beyond our understanding. And I believe these times, these are one of those situations where you just can't put together a string of thoughts that are going to make sense of any of this. You know what I mean? All we can do is try to sit back. And for me, I go to the word of God, and he says, let the one who has not sinned throw the first stone at her. And that's how I am. That's how I am in this situation, man. So, I hope that, brings some understanding to at least me and Mello's side of this situation. I hope people don't cast judgment up on anything. We're doing here. The Scoop is a family. It's not a cult. People trying to bring this and mix these two scenarios. It's disgusting to me, man. It really is, dude. There's enough problems in this world. There's enough pain already. Let's leave your pride out of it. Let's leave your ego out of it. And let that situation be that situation. Don't bring it into Ohio State football. Don't bring it into YouTube. Don't do it, man. It has no place here. It's not some big news story that has to be reported on. That's an excuse for you to make you feel better about yourself, man. This is people's life. It is people's life that we're talking about right now. It's not a game. So, I pray that for those people that are doing it, that they never end up in a situation like this, because they will want some grace and some mercy from their friends big time. So anyway, man, I could sit on and go on for days, but I'm not going to, man. We're going to move on now. We're going to talk about Ohio State and the official visits, that recently occurred.
Hold on, Dad. Before we move on, I just want to point something out. So everybody that's watching, me and Dev are followers of Christ. Like, that's what it is. There's no second guessing it. That's what we believe in. That's what we do. That's how we live our lives. There's other people that are out here, other podcasters proclaiming to be followers of Christ, other people that are in this spirit proclaiming to be follower of Christ, and they're not. You could tell by their actions they don't live it. There's a lot of fake Christians out here, right? So you have people that have been in situations themselves that have directly affected Ohio State football program, directly, period, affected careers through their actions, whether they were founded or not founded. But they want to talk about someone else that supposedly was their friend. It's the envy that comes out, and the pride comes before the fall. And it always comes. And karma, people want to talk karma, it comes full circle. People want to sit here and make this about some Ohio State team up north thing, which is not. Someone lost their life. A family lost a father. Like, this is ridiculous what you guys are doing and saying. I haven't seen anything about it. Otherwise, I would address it directly. I've heard. And I will call you out by your name, because at the end of the day, I don't care. If you're in the wrong, you're in the wrong. I'll call you out by your name. I don't care, because you're not going to do anything to me. You can look up anything you want on me. My life's an open book. I don't care. But I just had to get that out there. People are using this because, honestly, Buckeye Scoop has been beating these dudes into a pulp number-wise, right? This is the truth. I'm just telling you, this is not about the situation, what people are portraying is the fact that Buckeye Scoop was on top, and now they're looking at a opportunity to knock them down. They don't care about Ethan. If they cared about Ethan, they would try to do something to help the family, which Scoop will do. Scoop is going to do. So a lot of people are making unfounded statements, and I just hope you got your lawyers ready because people will sue you. I'm sorry. That's all I had to say.
It's a pain-filled situation, man. I try to be slow to speak in these situations, like I said, but nothing good about it, man. Nothing good about it. There's no need to add any more hate or pain or anything into this scenario, man. It affects so many people, and like I said, dude, I could be in Kirk's shoes so easy, dude. So easy, man. I'm just honest with myself. I am not better than any human being on this earth. Hey, you Google my name, you got plenty to talk about. I promise you that. I'm going to hit up my Aunt Chris in the chat. She'll fill you in on some stuff too. And I'm fine with that, man, because Jesus forgave me. I have forgiven myself. And now I spend my life helping other people and trying to make sure people do not make the same mistakes that I made. If you decide to drink alcohol, take an Uber, man. Do not get in your car and drive. And like I said, we'll do whatever we can to help anybody in this scenario, man. It's our job to spread the grace and the love and the mercy of Jesus Christ. It is his job to judge when that time comes, and I have faith that he will do it accordingly. He's the best one of them all to do it. But official visit time, man. There's some news going on with some recruits. We're going to go over the official visit list of recruits that were here. There's a little bit of news about some Ohio State targets as well. They weren't on campus this weekend, but some news is coming out about them. And then we'll let you know about the shows we got coming Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Fire shows. You aren't going to want to miss them. So let me start off with the committed prospects that were on campus for this official visit. Chris Henry Jr., 5-star wide receiver. Simeon Caldwell, safety now, going to turn into a linebacker. Jordan Thomas, he is a 5-star corner. Ohio State's #1 corner target. They got him. Caden Dixon-Wyatt, another 5-star wide receiver, one of the best in the nation. Brock Boyd, another big-time receiver, man. Jaden Ricketts, speedster receiver from he's the corner. He's the safety, right? And then Blaine Bradford. Was once ranked the #1 safety in the nation. Now he's moved to #7 because he committed to the Buckeyes. But yeah, a solid group of commitments there. Blaine Bradford put out again that he shut his recruitment down yet again because people love, dude, putting out. He shut his recruitment down a day after he committed, but he still has to do it because people love putting out there, hey, man, you got to watch it. Part of it's true. In today's day and age with NIL, you do have to watch out, but how about you take somebody at their word? You know what I mean? These recruits that flip-flop, their commitment, they're not coming out and saying, I'm locked in, not taking any other visits. I have yet to see a recruit say, I'm locked in, not taking any other visits publicly, and then go take other visits and flip. I haven't seen it. I'm sure it's going to happen, but I haven't seen it. Mello, anything to add to the commitments that were here?
Man, all our commits are locked in. That makes me feel good. I'm ready to see some booms on that D line. I think it's coming. I think there's going to be some booms in the secondary as well. So I'm pretty excited. I think we're going to finish with a top 3 class nationally, which if you look at the previous classes that we've had, it's always been top 5 for like probably the past 5 to 7 years. And that is how you build championship and dynasty teams is top 5. You don't want to have a top 1 and then drop out to top 10 the very next year. I mean, that does no good. You can't build and stack the classes. So I'm loving the direction that we're going in. I'm loving that we're not overpaying for kids. I'm loving that we're not compromising the block O for kids, even if it might be one of the best players to ever come out of high school at his position. So, like, at the end of the day, the block O is where it needs to be. And I'm super excited about to see what comes of this weekend. I got a good feeling, Dev, like especially some of the conversations we've been having with some of these recruits from this visit weekend that we're going to get some pretty big time booms.
Yeah, let's dive into it, man. The first uncommitted prospect, he came on a visit without an offer. Quarterback Luke Fahey's number 23 quarterback in the nation, 6'1", smaller quarterback, but something about him made the best quarterback coach in the nation give him an offer. Luke Fahey, he was down to Stanford, Indiana, took an official visit to Oklahoma State. But now the Buckeyes are in the race big time. Indiana just got a quarterback committed to him. And I'll just say it how it is, man. Luke Fahey's going to be the Buckeyes quarterback in the 2026 class. And all I can say to that right now, because I haven't looked at his film, is that I trust in Ryan Day and this coaching staff. And if he got a quarterback offer at Ohio State, which is very difficult to do, I am confident that he's going to be a big contributor in this class. Mel, you got anything to add about Luke Fahey?
Yeah, I'm looking for a commitment coming from him soon, right? He said it's a dream school to play at Ohio State. You know you have the best weaponry around you. You got Fester to coach you along with Ryan Day, and you got B. Hartline that's going to develop and scheme up a great offensive game plan, game in and game out. So why wouldn't he want to be here? He could throw to his old teammate, Phillip Bell, as well as Chris Henry's coming, Caden Dixon-Wyatt's coming. You still have Deshaun Stewart here, Quincy Porter, Desi Jones. My fault, Deshaun Stewart's a safety. But you got Desi Jones, and you'll have JJ here for a little bit. Brandon Ennis, probably. Mylan Graham, Bryson Rogers. I mean, loaded. And then the running backs that could catch out the backfield. Why wouldn't you want to be a Ohio State Buckeye if you're a quarterback?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, man. Again, I trust Friday. Sorry, dude. I knew there was going to be comments in this. Somebody just made a comment, dude, and I want to just speak on it, but not going to. Let's stay with Ohio State football right now. Running back Derek Cooper, man. There's a chance we're going to get him on the show. I've been in contact with his mom, trying to get that set up. He's going to commit on July 12th. This has been Mello's favorite running back the entire class, and I've never agreed with him until I just watched his film again about an hour ago. And I think he's the number one running back in the nation. It has nothing to do with the news about Savion Hyder. Take this money thing. It had nothing to do with that. This is my honest opinion. He said he loved meeting with Coach Locke, Coach Day, and Coach Hartline, the development, the tradition, the winning. To just be straight up with you, man. It's going to come down to, and I'm going to say this a lot about these recruits, but it's just the reality, man. Miami is offering them around $750,000 a year to play. Ohio State will not offer anywhere near that, and we'll get into why that is. Matter of fact, I'm going to do it now. So Ohio State, this new NIL rule came out. I forget what you got to have all your deals go through a clearinghouse, right? And there's also the revenue sharing, right? So $14.5 million will go to the players that play for Ohio State in revenue sharing. So each player will get a chunk of that. Ohio State will assess and give them that. Anything over that money, any deal past that has to get cleared through the clearinghouse, right? So it has to be actual NIL payments, name, image, and likeness. You have to be paid for doing something for a company. This is what NIL was supposed to be. NIL has now turned into just pay for play, right? They're trying to do away with that. They're trying to do it the correct way, the right way. Some schools are following the rules. Ohio State, Georgia, and I'm sure there are several other ones that are just, they're following these rules. The rules are now in place right now. I know everybody thinks July 1st and whatnot, but the rules are in place right now. July 1st is when the clearinghouse stuff will start. Teams like USC, right? Texas A&M, they straight up plan on suing and not following these rules, okay? You see scum trying to do it, passing this state law. It's just what teams are going to do, man. This was a ruling made by a federal judge already, so people keep talking about, is it going to hold up in court? It's already held up in court, right? So the process that these teams are going to go by, they're trying to get an advantage. And I'm 95% positive they're going to lose that battle, and it's them going to set them back. They're promising these recruits a lot of money, and sure, they can pay these recruits. The recruits can take the money, but they won't be eligible players. That's what they're saying. Hey, yeah, you can pay them. You can, but you're just not going to be a part of the NCAA. You're not going to play for a title or anything like that. Melo, anything to add to Derek Cooper or what I just said about NIL?
I agree with everything you said 100%. You hit it the nail on the head. I don't expect USC to hold on to all 30, but they are planning to sue. We all know that. But maybe Big Ten will put pressure on them, either follow the rules or get kicked out, kind of like what the SEC said to Tennessee, and what probably will happen to the team up north if they pass that law because they want to cheat. That's all they're known for is cheating and harboring terrorists, by the way. But yeah, Derek Cooper, he is the best running back in the country, in my opinion, even over Savion Hyder. They don't play the same level of competition. That's just a fact. So when people are looking at it, you also have to look at that. Derek Cooper, out of all the running backs, plays the hardest competition, and he's putting up elite numbers that he does. But like you just said, we're offering significantly less money than Miami, and he's in the state of Florida. He won't have to pay taxes on that money as well, and he's right at home. He could even stay at his parents' house and not even spend money on anything. So I think that's going to be a hard pull to get him out of Miami for anyone. So let's see. But if anybody can do it, it's the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah, there's always been this circulating rumor that Derek Cooper wants to get away from home. Okay. If that's true, it comes down to, okay, how bad do you want to get away from home, right? If the Buckeyes are offering 200,000, maybe, which is on the high end if they are, is it worth another $550,000 to just go ahead and stay home? And again, no judgment on who they pick, but I will say this: Derek Cooper seems to be a very good culture fit at Ohio State. I've heard several people say that he fits the mentality of a Buckeye, man. So this could be one of those sneaky ones, man, where people want to bring that NIL factor into it. But some of these players, man, they don't think in the short term like most do. They think long term. They actually want to go to the school that's going to put them in the first round of the NFL draft, and that's going to make that $500,000 a year that you're basing your decision on look like nothing. It's going to look like pocket change. And you do have some recruits making that decision. Speaking of those recruits that have that decision coming their way, safety, Braylon Womack, the number 1 safety in the nation, the number 18 player in the nation. I believe he's one of the best players in this class. You can put Chris Henry, Caden Dixon-White, Derek Cooper, Braylon Womack is up there in that level. He is an elite football player. He's also a Buckeye boy, man. He's been on this show several times. Mello is really close with his dad. They talk frequently. He will be on the show tomorrow. So I am going to hold off on saying much about him. I don't want to put any preconceived ideas in people's minds. You can go back and watch our previous interviews with him. Him and his parents love the Buckeyes. They want to be Buckeyes. Can the Buckeyes get together a good enough package, right? Doesn't have to be the leading package, but a good enough package to get Braylon Womack to sign with the Buckeyes. Mello, you got anything to add to that?
Man, I love what you just said. This is my favorite player in the class, period. And a lot of it is due to the fact that I am close with his dad. His dad is in the Air Force. I was in the Army. So that brotherhood is the strongest and the realest brotherhood out of any brotherhood that's mentioned, even over Ohio State. So I will go to bat for him. I will do whatever I can to help him in this process. But you hit it right on the nail on the head. Does Ohio State want him? The package has to be decent. It doesn't have to be the number 1 package. To me, they are a Buckeye family through and through. They are set up properly mentally. That kid is ready. He's a worker. He's a grinder, and he's the number 1 safety in America. Just think about the back end. You're going to have him with Blaine Bradford in the back end, Devin Sanchez on another side, Aaron Scott, Jordan Thomas. Man, BIA is here. It's not a slogan. It's real, and it's here to stay. So I'm looking forward to the interview tomorrow. It's going to be exciting to see his perspective on his OV.
Yeah, you look what the Buckeyes did on this visit. They had Blaine Bradford here. They had Jordan Thomas here. They had Jaden Ricketts here. They had Simeon Caldwell here, right? They had Caleb Downs walking him around campus. So, man, another one of these ones here where, I think Texas A&M might be in this one. Auburn's a player here, but Texas A&M, they're all offering more money than the Buckeyes probably, but we'll see, man. They love Ohio State, and I think there's a really strong pull to be a Buckeye, and I think that's the right choice here, right? The proof is in the pudding. Next one, man, Golly, dude, I watch this dude's film, and I know you're going to hear me say this a lot, but we're a Buckeye channel, man. I watch the Buckeye recruits, and I give you my breakdown of them. Wide receiver, Guilford, his last name's Guilford. Jaquandon Guilford. He's committing on June 27th. He's 6'2", 180 pounds. We already got 4 wide receivers signed in this class. Brian Hartline's going after a 5th. For him to go after a 5th wide receiver, just think what that means. He's got Chris Henry Jr., Brock Boyd, Caden Dixon-White, and Jaden Ricketts committed already, and he's going after another one. Just take a moment and think about the caliber of wide receiver it would have to be for Brian Hartline to go after that, and go watch his film. If you're a Buckeye fan and you have not watched his film, go watch it, because he's going to be a Buckeye. He's going to sign with the Buckeyes. Several RPM picks in for him. Mello, anything to add to Guilford? I think Mello left. You on mute, Mello?
Yeah, my bad.
You're good. Did you get in the middle of something here? I was talking about the wide receiver Guilford.
Yes.
Brian Hartline's going to offer. You got anything to add to that, bro, or no? Bro, hey, you tell your girl that you're on a freaking show. Tell her.
Damn, I'm on the
Serious.
show.
Pam, I know what you're up to, Pam. Cool it.
She said, "Don't blame it on her." No,
right.
I expect to have the 5 wide receivers in this class. I heard little rumblings on social media about the school doesn't want Jaden Ricketts in the class. I don't believe that. I believe they want all 5 guys. I don't think they're gonna tell someone to leave to add a new guy. It just doesn't make sense. And you got to think about it. In JJ's class, it was only JJ and Mylan Graham, so that's the only 2. So actually, number-wise, they really need it. We don't transfer portal kids in for the wide receiver position. So I believe we'll get all 5.
Yeah, I agree with you there. The next one, we're going to cover 2 in one shot here. Defensive ends, Landon Barnes and KJ Ford out of Duncanville, Texas. Landon, 6'4", 235. KJ, 6'3", 245. Landon's number 19 edge. He had a good official visit. He's a Louisiana native and thought to be a pretty big-time LSU lean, but we'll see, man. The Buckeyes got him in for an official visit. But KJ Ford, his teammate, was going to take an official visit to USC. USC paid Luke Waffle, and KJ Ford switched his visit to the Buckeyes. And this is a sneaky one here, man. He's the number 18 edge in the nation. I love him, man. I love him. And the intel I am getting here is that pretty much you got Carter Meadows and you got KJ Ford on the board right now at defensive end that the Buckeyes are going after. And that's what it is. And I have confidence that the Buckeyes will land one of those guys. We will see which one it is, but I would be thrilled with either or, honestly. Go KJ Ford. I'm a big fan. Mello, anything to add on those?
Man, I love KJ Ford. I'm sorry. I really do. I want him in his class. I expect him in his class. I'm hoping that he comes in his class. Carter Meadows is a beast, but I actually like KJ Ford a little bit better personally. But that's just my personal opinion. I also think Carter Meadows is going to get a high NIL evaluation from other schools, and it is what it is. I think KJ Ford and what we're going to do in the defensive line with the GOAT LJ, who's the best defensive line developer in the history of college football. Yeah. I think KJ Ford at his baseline is going to end up being a better player than Carter Meadows if Carter Meadows decides to go elsewhere. Hopefully, God willing, we get both of them, and then it's just like a grand slam. But if not, I really love KJ Ford. I'm not gonna lie to you.
This made me remember something in particular, right? Defensive line prospect PJ Dean and all that commotion coming out of the visit. We had him on the show, and we heard there what he said and what was coming out of the visit did not mix. What was coming out of the visit is the Buckeyes cooled because of the weight issue. When we spoke to him, it made sense what he was saying. The Buckeyes are still really in on him and want to have him. That is still what is being said on that end, and it is still being reported. Somebody just put out today that the Buckeyes are out on PJ Dean. So I'm just telling you what's being communicated here. You guys take that information and, come up with what you want there. But that's that information there. Next. Oh, dang, I forgot to put. No, I didn't. All right. Next, we got the 2 offensive linemen, JB Shabazz, tackle. On3 has him ranked as the number 56 player in the nation, the number 6 offensive tackle. I will tell you that the Buckeyes do not look at him as that high as a tackle. They are not prepared, to offer him the number 56 player in the nation type of money, is what I'm being told. I like his film, 6'6", 280. The other one, Dayron Parks, was in West Virginia, now moved to Florida. He's 6'3" or 6'4", 360 pounds. The Buckeyes have always been sneakily in on this recruitment, and they're probably going to wait on both these prospects. They're probably going to wait and see how the rest of this board shakes out with Drew Evers, Felix Ojo, Aaron Thomas before they decide what to do with Dayron Parks. That's my information I have there. Mello, anything to add on those 2 players?
Dayron Parks is going to be a good player. I mean, he would be a good foundational piece. I think you should, personally, if it was me, regardless of what anyone else does, I'm taking him. You saw depth at the O-line position. We needed it severely last season. I think that's going to be standard. If you could get him at a good NIL evaluation and he's cool with it, we got to get it. We need to take him, and especially because he really loves Ohio State, being from West Virginia. So I would add him to the class regardless.
Yeah, I feel you there. I honestly didn't like hearing that if they push for him, they'll get him. It's like, well, then push for him. Let's freaking get him. But we'll see what happens. The last official visitor, probably the most sneaky one here, man. Defensive lineman Damari Simeon. Mello's not going to like what I say about him, but it's just the information I have. He's 6'2", 275 pounds. On3 has him ranked as the number 65th player in the nation, the number 7 defensive lineman. This is a Penn State, Ohio State battle, and he is extremely high on Ohio State's board. Now, interestingly, 247 doesn't even have him ranked. So you go from the 65th player in the nation to not even ranked. I will tell you that Ohio State agrees with On3. Ohio State looks at Damari Simeon. Listen, Mel, this is what I'm being told, okay? Don't hate me. All right, dude, I'm just repeating what I'm being told. Kind of like they do Deuce Gerald, man. And he's the other one that we need to talk about and bring up. So the other defensive lineman, Deuce Gerald, had a big-time relationship with the Buckeyes for a lot of years. He's at the Rivals camp right now, just in an interview with no other than Con3, Steve Always Wrong. This is what he said. Deuce Gerald said, Old Miss is recruiting me the hardest right now. In LSU, the team up north, and Oregon have the best official visits. But he loves the Buckeyes' strong culture, and the Buckeyes made a push. He is in no rush to make his decision. Now, when in terms of what is being reported and what Deuce Gerald said, I encourage you strongly to consider the source and consider maybe what questions were asked and how they were asked, because I have a sneaking suspicion, right, that if we could hear the other end of these questions, that it would be directed to look like this is not an Ohio State lean as much as possible. But I personally think it's going to come down to the Buckeyes will either get Damari Simeon or Deuce Gerald. Mello, let us know your thoughts on both of those.
The Deuce is loose, baby. We want Deuce Gerald's, baby. That's what I'm telling you right now. They're both from Georgia. I'm telling you, Deuce clears him. They're not in the same stratosphere. I understand. It's cool if Ohio State looks at them the same. They might just be saying that because just in case Deuce goes otherwhere. I personally believe that we're the leader for Deuce Gerald's. I have my reasoning for that. He goes to a big time Buckeye school, and I mean, we'll see. He's going to be coming on the Buckeye boys pretty soon, actually. So I love Deuce. To me, he's the number one defensive tackle in the country, period, regardless of class. He's an absolute animal on the field. And when you see him in person, is just a different guy. He's just a different type of player. And at the end of the day, I just want to say shout out to Dev for coming up with the new nickname. Steve Always Wrong. I love that. Steve Always Wrong. So everybody go ahead and start running with that. Steve Always Wrong. Let's switch up the crystal balls an hour before your commitment announcement.
Yeah, for sure. I think everybody keeps saying if the Buckeyes make a push with Deuce Gerald, right, that they'll get him. But listen, man, I'm just going to be honest for a second. All the things that are coming out of this visit, pretty much it's coming down to, are these recruits going to take the most money or are they not? Because we're in a situation where, like I said, Ohio State is following these rules. They are erring on the side of like extreme caution. They're not even getting close to pushing the boundary. Other teams, they're saying, screw it, man. And these other teams, they're the desperate teams. They're the teams that the only chance they have in landing these recruits, because they can't prove their development, they can't prove they're winning, they can't prove any of that. They have to pay them more money or they don't stand a chance at all. And I'm very curious to see how this shakes out. I believe it's going to shake out in Ohio State's side, where you're going to see a bunch of movement coming up in college football with certain classes and certain players, because the money's not going to be able to be paid out like people want. So, hey, you're either going to be in the side of getting mad at Ohio State for doing this, or you're going to be super happy. Like you're liking what they're doing. There's the only two sides you can be on right now. And one of those sides is going to be the winner. I like them going ahead and following their rules. Just think of the example that sets for these recruits in life. Like, can you imagine going to a school, sitting down and having a conversation about your NIL payment? In that conversation, they say, hey, don't worry about these rules that were set in place to protect this sport, to protect these players, and to protect the integrity, to make this game keep its popularity up and its long-standing relationship it has with its fans. Ignore those. We're going to sue them, right? Can you imagine that? Imagine like your teenage kid going through life, learning how to handle life lessons, and sitting down with a big-time college, and they're sitting here saying, hey, nah, dude, don't worry about these rules they just came up with. We're going to sue. Like, I don't know, man. It's kind of messes with my head. I don't know how I'd feel about sitting down in the coach's office saying, hey, I'm going to give you this money. It's against the rules to give you this money, but don't worry, we're going to sue. I don't know how that would go. I really don't. Mello, what do you think?
Before I answer, we got a super chat. We forgot to shout out to Chris Lane for the $5. We need 2 Drews. Awesome stuff, guys. I think you hit it right on the head. You're right. Like Ohio State has been at the forefront of NIL, except for the first 2 years when it first started, and they were kind of confused on the rules, and they didn't want to cross the line, and they want to be in regulations through compliance. And you see it right now. They're not going to have to adjust. They already got a game plan. They have a structure, a pay structure, and how they're going to allocate their funds and their money. And people also have to realize that Ohio State has the most varsity sports in college football. I mean, in the country. So you get $28.5 million, $20.5 million. You have to split that amongst all the teams. And the way they're doing it is the proper way. If you look at the production in the NFL, even if you go by position group, really Ohio State is everything university, if you think about it. I just saw somewhere the DBs lead at all time in terms of stats, wide receivers all time in terms of stats, O-line, and you go down the line. So as a kid, you can chase that short-term money, or you could get short-term money because you're not going to come to Ohio State and be broke.
And you could go to the NFL and be developed, go to NFL and make that long-term money at the same time. Yes, you might lose a couple $100,000 at 18, but if you're investing properly, you have the right people around you, that money is not going to matter what you're losing. You could double, triple that easily. So I love what Ohio State is doing. They're not going to overpay for a high school kid and upset the culture in the rooms that are already currently at Ohio State. What Ohio State is doing has already proved to win national championships, which is what we're all competing for. USC has 30 kids. If you think about it, even if they keep all 30, I think they have 9 D linemen in this class. They're not going to be able to keep all 9 D linemen for 4 years. That's like, let's be honest. So those kids are going to hit the portal, or they're going to renege on their payments, and they're going to look bad. And they're going to pay down the road anyway. And I know they're desperate because Lincoln Riley is on his last leg, supposedly, out there. And they want to win. USC wants to get back to their glory days. And to be honest, I don't know if they will. Not with this strategy. I just don't see how it comes to fruition. O-line and D-line takes average about 2 to 3 years of development before you're ready. So I love what Coach Day is doing. He set a culture. He set a standard. And this is why Coach Day is the best coach in America over everyone. It's the culture that he set. It's the kids not getting in trouble. It's the GPA that they're setting in school. It's the foundation of community service. It's everything that they're doing, the testifying, the baptisms that they're doing, the revivals, and then they're winning on the field. Coach Day is the highest winning percentage coach in all of college football. So we're in good hands. People just trust the process. There's going to be growing pains, but we're in the right direction. We also have the best GM in college football, Mark Pantoni. I don't know what else you guys want, but it's great to be a Buckeye fan right now.
Yeah, no doubt. Ditto everything you said, man. On point with where Ohio State's at right now. On to some other recruiting news, some little tidbits, man. That Rivals camp's going on right now, so a lot of players are getting interviewed. Terry, sorry, man. Jake Krull got interviewed, and he said his top 4 schools are Texas, Florida, Oklahoma, and Ole Miss. So Ohio State out of the running for Jake Krull. I loved his attitude as well, Terry. Great kid. But it sounds like we're out of the running there. Felix Ojo, right? He's a Buckeye boy, been on the show a couple times. If he commits to the Buckeyes, we will get him back on here. But he straight up said, man, this is going to surprise a lot of people. This is an Ohio State-Texas battle. Now, the main thing here is that both teams have shown him the path to make an impact as a freshman. Both starting left tackles will be leaving, right? He kept bringing that up. And he just straight up come and said, hey, the NIL, a lot of people thinking, yo, Texas is just going to straight buy Felix Ojo. He said the NIL offers from both schools are pretty even. Okay, so, you know, when you follow the rules that are put in place, this is going to happen a lot more, right? Because unfair deals, pay-for-play deals will no longer be accepted. So it sounds like Texas is going about this the way that Ohio State is going about this, which is going to come down to, hey, more of the old recruiting style, because these 2 elite schools, they can offer elite money, and they're on that same field there. So that's good news for the Buckeyes, man. A little advantage there. One more lineman we'll talk about here, Aaron Thomas, right? Reached out to me. Let the Buckeye boys know he's committing Wednesday at 6 p.m. his time. That's 9 p.m. Eastern Central Standard Time. Just came off a Texas A&M visit and got a Texas A&M crystal ball. So I reached out and I said, how'd the visit go? He said, it went great. And I said, dang, I hope, you know, Texas A&M didn't jump Ohio State here off this visit. And his response was, no, they did not. I love Ohio State. So
let him know, baby. Let him know.
Yeah. He's
stuff him in a locker right now.
Hey, Steve Wilfong put in a crystal ball for Aaron Thomas to Texas A&M. I am strongly going against that and putting a boys boom in for Aaron Thomas to the Buckeyes. Now, I could be completely wrong. I'm going off of what he is telling me directly. And obviously, Texas A&M is one of those schools that is not playing the rules. So man, who knows, man? If they come in at the last moment, offer a way bigger bag, whatever, you really don't know what's going to happen here. But I know that Aaron Thomas loves the Buckeyes. He's committing Wednesday at 6 p.m. his time. So, we'll see. But I like where the Buckeyes are standing with Aaron Thomas. Mello, anything to add on Aaron Thomas, Jake Cruel, Felix Ojo?
Man, I love Jay Cruel. Whoever gets him got a cool dude. He's gonna be a cultural fit somewhere. He's gonna be a life of whatever room he goes to. I don't think he's gonna be an Ohio State Buckeye though, but I wish that kid the best. He has an awesome personality. Aaron Thomas, man, I love that kid, and he flat out. You heard what Dev said. That's a fact. I'm ready. That's what he said. He said no, they didn't jump Ohio State. He said Ohio State's where Ohio State is. So I agree with Devin. I think he's going to be a Buckeye. We'll have him back on the show soon. And, you guys have to just take it with a grain of salt. We talk directly to the kids. Could they lie to us? Sure, but I don't see what they're getting out of lying to us. It's not like they're on the show. We're talking directly to them off camera. So I don't think he's –
Yeah, I agree. I just want to remind people real fast. Me and Mello do this for fun, right? We love the family. We love the viewers. We love the likes. We always ask for it, right? A lot of people, man, this is their livelihood. So every click, every like, that's money. They need to have that money to survive. That's okay. That's a business. Everybody has their business. Me and Mello would be doing this if there was 3 people in the chat right now, okay? We just have that passion to get to know these kids as people, as human beings. We did not like sitting back and watching how the recruiting industry, the direction it was going, how it was making some of these kids look. Now, whose fault is that? It's everybody's, it's everybody involved. It's their fault, right? It's us, our fault for believing what we were reading, for assuming, casting judgment off of an article that we read, and also for the people writing and asking these questions and typing these out. You know what I mean? So, I worked in ministry for a long time. So I don't know. I love hearing success stories and hearing some of these recruit stories of where they've been in life and where they're at now and where they're going to go. I love hearing those testimonies, man. I love when recruits bring up Jesus and their faith at such a young age. Dude, it just lifts my spirits. It's a beautiful thing to sit back and watch. That's why we do it. If you guys get some information from that, great, cool, awesome. I love just hearing these success stories. It's a pretty dark world, and not a lot of positive news gets reported much. You know what I'm saying? When Scoop does something good, there ain't nobody reporting on it. But the second something bad happens, everybody and their freaking mom's got to jump on here and report on it. It's a sad world we live in. Cameron Brickle, defensive line target. That is he's committing on June 28th. He's IMG guy. Buckeyes love him, man. Big time, 300-pound defensive tackle. Got really good film, man. A lot of high potential here. Here's his teams, man. Here's what's going to come down to. And you guys can make your assessment based off this. Florida State, Maryland, Ohio State. So you guys decide where Cameron Brickle is going to choose out of that list. Xavier Griffin announcing his commitment June 29th. Between Alabama, Ohio State, and Texas. All I'll say is this one is, I think the Buckeyes stand a little bit better chance than they're being given credit right now. That I still wouldn't pick the Buckeyes over the field. Me personally, I wouldn't. But I think there's a little more juice there than the Buckeyes are getting credit for. Last but not least, Jameer Perez, baby. Jameer Perez, RPM picks for the Buckeyes. You guys freaking watch, dude. This dude is going to turn into a first-round defensive lineman. Be a hater if you want, but I'm taking bets right now. Right, I got $2 that he becomes a first-round defensive lineman. If anybody wants to take that bet, I'm here for it. Mello? Jameer Perez, Xavier Griffin, Cameron Brickle. Hey, and if Pam has anything to add to this, just, she could talk too.
Yo, you are.
Yeah.
Dude,
I can't,
we got 700 people watching and you calling me out right now.
I can't see you, but I still got that feeling. I kind of know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
dude?
you know me way too well. But no, in terms of Xavier Griffin, unfortunately, the news I'm getting is that he's Bama bound, but hopefully it could change. I know he has a lot of respect for Ohio State. He has a lot of respect for James Laurinaitis, but Bama is hell bent on not losing his commitment. Like that's all I will say about that. In terms of Jameer Perez, you already know how I feel. Him and Deuce are going to be the two best D tackle combination in the country at some point during their careers here at Ohio State. And I'm speaking that into existence. JJ is literally the size of like big Southern boys that would be going to UGA back when they had that elite D line in 21 and 22. And that's what Jameer Perez is. Quick on his feet. He's a dancing bear, literally. He's like a grizzly. You don't want any smoke with a grizzly bear. So I'm excited to watch that flip. And then I'm going into all the Florida chats and talking trash because they were trying to dunk on us when he first committed. And I told him, hey, he's a Glenville kid. We're going to flip him. They're like, no, you're not. And then I'm gonna employ Dev to go ahead and call Billy Napier, since you have his number, directly and be like, stay away from Ohio kids from now on, period.
Yeah, I know where he's at. Over here in Florida, man. I know his favorite eating spot, so I might just go there and sit and wait on him, give him this surprise attack. But anyway, those are our updates that we have for you guys. No updates on Emmanuel Ruffin, the other defensive lineman, but some dominoes are going to start to fall here, particularly with the running back situation here in Ohio State. If Georgia gets that Georgia running back, then that takes them out of the game for Derek Cooper. Then it's going to be a Ohio State-Miami battle. Same with defensive linemen. We'll see where Carter Meadows decides to go. I know Ohio State has a very good NIL deal together for him, very close to what anybody else is going to offer. I've heard he's looking for around $2.4 million for 2 years. Buckeyes aren't going to pay that. Don't even know if that's true, but they have a very good offer together for him. And he's probably my number one need for the class right now is an edge, Carter Meadows or KJ Ford. And I'm going to be cool with, I would like Carter Meadows. We haven't seen a recruit like him come through the Buckeyes for a good little minute. But yeah, so tomorrow, Braylon Womack and his dad will be on our channel. Here we'll be streaming just like we are now from Buckeye Boys from Scoop tomorrow at 7 p.m. Ronaldo Perez, 6'5", 245-pound defensive end from Ohio. Got that Ohio State offer. The number 182 player in the nation. That is low. He will jump up those rankings for sure. He's coming on our show Wednesday at 7 p.m. So we got an in-state defensive lineman who's going to be a boss, man, and he camped at Ohio State and whatnot. So excited about his future. And then another 2027 recruit, been trying to get him on the show for a while. Pumped he's coming on. Our quarterback, Brady Edmonds, for the 2027 class will be on our show Thursday at 7 p.m. We're pumped about that. Last thing I got to say is that obviously with this tragedy that has happened, a lot of people are going to speak their opinions. A lot of people are going to have not good motives in this. And like I said before, I try my best to follow God, to follow the word of God in what we do. And I try to be very careful with the words, right, that come out of my mouth, because the Bible talks about, a tree is judged. Jesus is talking here, and he says a tree is judged by the fruit that it produces. In the next sentence, he says, as so a man is judged for the words that come out of his mouth. So I fail at that. I failed at that on this show here. I never dropped anybody's names, but I get emotional. I'm a human being, but I encourage us, if you hear people talking with the incorrect motives, they're talking bad, they're talking, pray for that person, because they're doing that for the most part because they have something going on inside. And I used to do this, right? When I would see somebody else's failure, when I was in my addiction, I would talk about it because it took the attention off of my failures. It made me feel better about myself. It made me justify what I was doing in my life more because I'm like, oh, look, this person just did something way worse than what I'm doing. So let me talk about it and I'll feel better. I used to do that until I met Jesus, right? And I still fall short from time to time, but I encourage you, man. And this is for me as well. Try it. You know what I mean? I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds psycho, but you've heard people say bad things about Scoop, about Kirk, about Nevada, about, our good friends, people that we know right now in this moment. They've been nothing but good to us. Everybody has a past, right? I encourage you, man, before you type, before you let those words come out about those people, try praying for them, because there's something deep down that's hurting them, right? That we don't see. That's my conclusion on that, because that's how I used to be, man. It just that's how it was. So this is already a horrible situation. The more we banter back and forth, the more we fall in the same line of those people that are doing it. When we do those things, that's the more pain and hurt and anger that we're bringing into the situation. And talking about this in a negative light does nothing. Doesn't do anything besides bring more pain into the situation. So this is for me as well. So pray about it, man, and just try to be a positive light wherever you go. There's enough darkness already. Horrible situation, horrible decision, horrible outcome. Pray for peace for everybody involved. Mello, anything to add?
Man, Dev, I'm so proud of you, man. Like, you're a great representation. God put you in my life for a reason at the right time. No, I'm serious. So, like,
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
God's
This
the
ain't
best, bro.
tongue in cheek. This is dead serious. But I'm gonna take a little different approach. I am Christian, but sometimes God sent David to slay Goliath. My whole thing is, if you got problem with Scoop, right, and you want to talk crazy, me and Devin already put it out there. We'll go into an MMA cage or a boxing cage ring, and we could go ahead and live stream it, and all the super chats raise money for it, and we could donate it to Team Challenge and helping homeless vets. But that offer still stands. If you guys really want to stand on that, that's coming from me, Mello. We could go in the MMA cage and just settle it that way and raise a whole bunch of money for a good cause. And if we win, that's where the money goes. And if we lose, then you can have it go wherever you want to send it. But I doubt me and Devin are going to win. Are going to lose, to be honest with you. And that's just being honest. So that's the way I grew up. I'm an 80s baby, and that's how I grew up. You want to talk crap? Like, we go in the ring and do it legally. Like, honest to God, you guys are so tough on the internet. I'm just being honest, bro.
To each their own, man. You got to
Like,
be honest. Trust me, dude. I have those moments as well. That's the old Devin. But, dude, if the old Devin's got to come out, he's got to come out. But I pray he doesn't. I pray that doesn't happen, man. But again, hey, a lot of angst going on right now in Buckeye Nation in terms of the recruiting. That's just the situation we're in, folks. Be blessed, man. Remember, we just won a national title. We got the two best players in college football on both sides of the ball on our team. And most importantly, these young men are being raised, right, with the influence of Ryan Day and this coaching staff to make the correct decisions moving forward. That's what we need in this life. We need leaders of young men. And that is what is being created at Ohio State. And that is rare as all get out these days, right? To have young teenagers like this, to have the mentality, the belief system they have, the support group that they have. I just absolutely love it, man. And that's what matters most here. I love college football, but man, we just got a stern reminder of what is important in this life. And I think we can all agree that that is what important, that these men are being raised the correct way. And Ohio State is one of the few programs in the nation that is doing that as close to perfect as perfect can be on this earth right now. Mello, anything else?
Man, awesome show, guys. Thank you for joining us. Just keep Ethan Perry's family as well as the Barton family in your prayers. This is a horrific situation for everybody involved. This is not about talking trash and trying to make your podcast blow up or anything like that. These are real people, real families, real individuals that are affected by this, and justice will be served one way or another. But
keep everyone in your prayers. And my offer still stands. Like, as long as it's not in Ohio, Devin can't go to Ohio right now, but anywhere else, we'll meet up with y'all. There's the offer, standing offer.
I said yesterday that we would say a prayer on this channel. That's what we're going to do. We'll close this out with prayers. So here we go. Dear Lord, we love you. We thank you for everything that you've done for us in our life. We thank you most of all for your son that you sacrificed on a cross. You sacrificed him because of our iniquities, because of our shortcomings, because we are not perfect, but you and your ultimate wisdom came down. You made that sacrifice and that enabled us to be forgiven. It enabled your grace to be applied to our life, your mercy to be applied to our life. And it's our job as Christians, as fellow believers, to carry that grace, that love, and that forgiveness that you've shown every one of us onto other human beings, dear Lord. I ask that you give your peace that you talk about in Philippians, that peace that's beyond all understanding, that you give that to Ethan Perry's family right now. I cannot imagine what they are going through, Lord, but you know exactly what they're going through. Just give him that peace, dear Lord. Kirk, I pray for Kirk. Show him that peace. Let this be a learning lesson for him, Lord. Show him your light. Show him your face so he can come to you and know a new way to live, a new freedom, a new peace, a new happiness that you give to all your believers, dear Lord. I pray for his wife and his kids, that they can experience peace in this grief-stricken moment in their life. And I just ask that everybody just realize the importance, that you show your face to everybody, that you use this as a testimony for your love and your power, dear Lord. And I pray for all those out there that are using this situation in some type of way to gain money or whatever type of situation they're trying to use this in a negative light. I just pray for those people right now, that you show them your love and your grace, and you show them the proper way to handle a situation like this. And I just thank you again for your grace and your forgiveness. And I just ask that everybody's hearts be at ease, and that you show your face to those, and that somebody be saved today. In your name we pray.
Amen.
Amen. On that note, fellas, ladies, gentlemen, we appreciate you guys. Hit that like button. We'll be back tomorrow. Please be sure to tune in and show your support here. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Go Buckeyes. OH.
Ayo.
Yeah, baby. Hey, Tim Kelly.